Hello, hello. Welcome to my live stream. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday evening. It's been a crazy week. It's been so much has happened this week. Oh my God. Yeah, things are getting a little busy around here. But very exciting news on the Vitesse front. New track out today with my homies Pearly Drops, which is part of the reason why I'm here and streaming. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on a stream and play the new song, play the new music video for you guys that me and Chris Burden shot together over the course of past week or so. I'll get into that a little bit later. It was a mad dash to finish. Needless to say, I probably need some sleep right now. I was also in the woods raving all weekend. So it's been a fun week, a grueling week at the same time. But I feel really good right now. Feel good to have this song finally out to share with you guys. I might not have the chat properly open, so if you give me a second, I will do that. In the meantime, feel free to come up with some questions. Feel free to talk about your day. I would love to know what's going on in your lives as well. Let me get this pop-out chat going. Pop-out chat. There we go. As you can see, I've redecorated around here. I got this cool little TV happening behind me featuring my girl Sandra from Pearly Drops behind me. If you've already seen the music video, you will be familiar. But for those that don't know about Pearly Drops super well, they are from Helsinki, Finland. So it becomes a more of a challenge to figure out how to make a music video happen for a collab when you are, in different parts of the world. So Sandra sent a video of herself, and then we transplanted ourselves into the TVs and computers. Hey, Monster Cam, how's it going? How's your day been? Thanks for showing up, everyone. Where did my tea go? I need that right now. I've just been rambling a little bit about how crazy this week has been. It's just like, it's kind of the last stages of getting everything wrapped for the album release, which is coming. The album's going to come out in 2 weeks, October 4th. So this is the track I put out today with Pearly Drops is the last single that I will be putting out before the record. So yeah, we've just been wrapping up a lot of stuff around here. It's been a little crazy. But what's going on with you guys? How are you? I feel like we're I guess nearing the end of the summer. Everyone's maybe getting ready for school or work is picking back up. I know it has been on my side of things. But all good. All good. Oh, hey, Chris. What's going on? Chris is asking, did you just project onto the old monitors? Imagine trying to load and use files on that old iMac would be a nightmare. Yeah. I ordered the iMac that you'll see in the music video if you haven't seen yet. I ordered an old iMac from, I think it was like 1999. So it's kind of like a shot in the dark whether or not it's totally going to work properly, but I trusted the seller enough and the reviews of the seller, so I got it. And believe it or not, it's like for a Mac from 1999, it actually runs pretty well. It's definitely it's a little clunky, and to load up any files takes a while, but it actually works. It definitely works. But the problem is it's more of like just the aesthetics of like the windows and stuff that didn't totally fit at times. So we did play around with I guess kind of like VFX, like redoing what was projected into the TVs in post. So some of the things you see aren't actually what was recorded in real time, but a lot of it was. And yeah, I think we got really lucky with the sellers that we got the computer from and this TV. They work pretty well. Thank you, Fred. What's up, Fred? Getting Girls is the new heat. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about this one. I feel like this is the pop hit on the record, I would say. I can talk a little bit about how the collab came about. I don't know how much longer I should wait. Yeah, like Chris is saying, you can't do full screen on the computer. I think that's what I was trying to get to. When you do full screen on a 1999 iMac, it kind of just it goes part of the way. It really tries, but it doesn't get all the way. So we had to fix some things up in post for that reason. But yeah, so I hope everyone's familiar with Pearly Drops music because they're really awesome. They're a very unique band. And I feel like they're kind of tapping into a sonic territory that I'm kind of striving for in my own way. I feel like they have a really beautiful, perfect blend of just like electronic meets indie meets shoegaze elements. Just kind of like if you think of the word indie-tronica, they kind of showcase that in the most perfect way. And so I don't really know how I started listening to their music, but once I did, I was pretty obsessed with their stuff and their last two records really. There's an eeriness about their music that is really I don't know, just like alluring to me. Because it's pop music, but there's always this subtle little dark side to it that I really like. And I think that's kind of, that duality is what I aim for in my music as well. On top of Sandra's vocals, they're just really different and really cool. And so anyway, we were just following each other on Instagram. I really don't know how we found each other, but, I guess we have really similar influences at the end of the day. And we have like, when we talk about our inspirations and stuff, it's like the people that we really hold to the highest esteem. We share a lot of those people. So, yeah, I shared it on my Instagram, but like, they commented on one of my stories. I don't even know what it was about. It could have been when Picture Plane was working on one of my songs because they're big Picture Plane fans, very big Picture Plane fans. So, that might have been the start of it. And then I was like, oh my God, hi, I love your music so much. And then I was just like, we should collab sometime. And then they were like, yeah, let's do it. And that was February of 2023. So nothing really came of that. But then I went to see one of their shows when they were in New York for the first time. And we hung out and like, we went out for drinks and just talked for a really long time. They're awesome people. And again, like we have really similar tastes and everything. So, yeah, we hit it off. And then like, once I started working on this record, I just always had them in the back of my mind. Like if I do a collab for this, I absolutely want Pearly Drops to be involved. So, I was just kind of waiting until I had a song ready that I felt like would work and fit into their universe. So towards the end of me working on the record, I had something that I sent over to them, and they really tried to work with it. But when they responded back, their idea was very drastically different from what I had sent them. So, but it was fitting for the record, and we went with that. So a lot of the production elements are very much on them this time around. I think they took what I sent over as a sonic palette and then really made it their own. And then, yeah, so in that way it was like a very like perfectly collaborative project. Oh, that's cool that you've never heard of Pearly Drops before. I guess that I'm noticing that I've been introducing them to people just through like the stream and stuff, talking about them, which is surprising because, yeah, I just feel like we're sonically very adjacent, and just within like the scenes that we run in, I feel like it makes a lot of sense. So that's cool. I'm glad everyone should listen to Pearly Drops. Everyone should listen to all their stuff. It's great. It is awesome. Hey, Agro Craggle, how's it going? How are you? Yeah, what more to say? I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't listened to the song yet, because it came out today, and normally I wait to do this stream a couple days after to digest it. So hence why I was like, let's do a listening party. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the harmonies. You know, doing collabs is really, really cool. Because in part, it's like being in a band again. And that's become very novel for me. I'm so used to working solo so much now. And I think we can all kind of understand how that could be a little bit, it can kind of get you stuck at times in your creative process, and maybe like it's hard to like really come at things with fresh ideas when you're only working with yourself. So I did have, with this record, I really wanted to push myself to collab more. And now that I've been doing it, it's like this collab with Pearly Drops, being able to just sort of like everyone have their own designated role was super nice. And like it gave me a lot more time to focus on the vocals, I would say, and have a lot more intention behind it, just because I didn't have to rush it. Like I just felt like, okay, this is the one thing that I need to do. I don't have to worry about all the other production elements that I normally have sitting in the back of my head. It's like you just have one job to do, and you just focus on honoring the song in the best way. So yeah, I mean, it's like I put down my vocals, and then I just kind of sat there and listened over and over and over, and just I waited till I heard something for the harmonies. And I sent over more than what ended up on the song itself. And every time I sent something over to them, I'm like, hey, these are just a bunch of ideas, but honestly, this song sounds so good in its simplest state. I didn't want to busy it up. So I like made it very clear to them that I wasn't going to be upset if they didn't want to use something. So, yeah, I feel like this song is really, it's like showcasing how if every element has a strong enough intention, you don't need to busy it up. You can just kind of leave each piece of instrumentation to kind of speak for itself. So that was a really good learning opportunity for me. I feel like I'm very prone to busying things up sometimes instead of just giving it breath and like, yeah, just focusing on the intention behind each element and sitting with it and, you know, moving slow in that way. That's another great aspect of collabs, is just being able to see new workflows and seeing how that can just like apply to the future of how you produce and everything. So anyway, I don't know how long I should wait to play it, but I'll give it like 10 more minutes or so in case people show up a little bit later. But yeah, another aspect of this collab, I feel like Pearly Drops really honored the thematic elements of what I was going for, because I kind of just left it really open-ended for them when they asked lyrically what I was going for, because Sandra laid down her vocals first on this one. And this record, there's like a lot of different themes, and I don't want to talk about too much of it yet because I want to wait till it comes out. But there's definitely like a storyline that I'm kind of recognizing now that I listen back to it. And the beginning of the album's like more of this, it's like I'm in this state of blissful delusion to some extent. And I mean, some of the songs I have out, you could probably hear that. So like Eternal, and I'll just leave it at Eternal right now because I guess a lot of the songs at the beginning aren't out. But yeah, Eternal is the best representation of that. And that is the first song on the record. It's just kind of like that toxic positivity mindset a little bit. It's like when you are in a state of needing escape, and needing something to keep you moving forward. It's sometimes we end up lying to ourselves. And so it goes into like escapism and dissociation and all these things. And that's why there's like a lot of cult imagery in the music video and everything. And so the beginning of the album kind of has a lot of these themes running through it. But once it gets to the Pearly Drops track, it's like the shift in energy. And I feel like it just needed to be there. And it's kind of like this like return to reality to some degree. Because it's like, how's the best way to explain this? Like sometimes it's like you have to just you have to embrace the darkness and just kind of like with a level of like snarkiness, with a level of just like your finger out to the wind, you know, just like, fuck it. Okay. Everything sucks, but I'm just going to like learn how to like adapt. And I feel like the song's kind of it's like taking that and, you know, it's like a girl's night out in the wasteland. That's sort of the theme. So I feel like Sandra really figured out what I was going for without me pushing it. And I didn't want to push the theme too much on their end. I just wanted them to kind of like feel through their intuition. And yeah, so anyway, I feel like they honored it really well. And it just kind of perfectly glides within the record. So it's cool. It's been awesome to be able to work with all these amazing artists. Anyway, I'm just like rambling. If you have any questions, please ask me things. My brain is really not working today. You might be able to tell I'm a little tired from just trying to get all this stuff wrapped up. When the drums sort of filter out and the Pearly Drops verse comes in, you can really feel a shift in the energy in a good way. Oh, that's good. Cool. Hey, Michael. Welcome. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome. it's nice to hear like a lot of people have been listening to Pearly Drops and my new music, and it's like it all kind of fits into a similar universe. So that's really great. I'm gonna play it. I'm not gonna be streaming for very long tonight, so because just in case people haven't watched it or listened to it, that way we can talk about it more easily if I play it now. Just so you're like, what is she talking about? All right, who's ready? Just like, let's get the energy going in the chat. Let's go. I'm my worst MC. Give me a drum roll. Give me a drum roll. It's so quiet in my headphones. It feels like crickets. Okay. I'm not going to wait for the delay. I'm going to play it now. Okay, here we go. There, I got a whoop whoop. That's all I needed.
In the
Woohoo! Thank you. Thank you. Oh, your Vitesse X build? That's all I need to hear. Hell yeah. Yeah. I did not do the windmill shots in the same location as last time. I did some really deep research. That was shot in Jersey by a sewage treatment plant. And I still have more photos and stuff to share from that spot. It's seriously so remote, and like you would never guess that would exist where it does. I just basically went on Google Maps, and you know how you can like plop yourself into the street view. So I did that, and I found this barren street that was blocked off, and we walked down there, and it was overlooking it's not sewage treatment plant, water treatment plant, a little bit nicer. But yeah, just like by this marshland, and they have a bunch of probably like four or five windmills that are just running the place, and it's actually really beautiful, especially when the sun's setting. So we got some shots there. I'll share more photos from the spot. I'm like, I do maybe want to go back and do a whole another music video or something there. It's just such a cool spot. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of my music videos out in Jersey somehow. I've been finding my calling in Jersey for this album campaign. But yeah, different place. This is the East Coast wind turbines. It's actually really surprising how hard it is to locate where wind turbines exist, because sometimes they're not really marked anywhere. It's just like, this is a form of power. Like, they're not going to be marked on Google Maps or anything. So I have to do some deep research to find out where to get my shots. But yeah, that was really cool. And then all of the TV shots were in my backyard. My Queen's backyard somehow has a lot of lush foliage and blooming flowers. I guess there's a lot of flowers that grow in the fall on the vines. So it worked out. We just got a lot of those shots in my backyard, and we got it all done in like a week and a half, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, Chris has been busy the past few days doing all of the editing while I was out in the woods raving. And we were like back and forth texting. He would like send me a new version, then I would text him back, be like, I don't know about this coloring here. And then we would just go back and forth. And we got it in last minute. But I'm super happy with how it turned out. I think it honors the two universes of Vitesse X and Pearly Drops very well, or merges the two in a really nice, smooth way. But yeah, I have some BTS photos that I scrapped together very fast, so I don't even know. That's me. That's me in my backyard. That's backyard. That's us within an hour, just like buying a TV off of eBay. We got the same day that I bought it. Me with the jacket. This area, it's running through these photos very fast, but me with the jacket on, it was so swampy that I had mosquitoes swarming around me. And so we actually went there a couple times. The second time I had bug spray, but even with the bug spray, it was fucked. It was horrible. So I have like mosquito bites all up and down my body. It's the cost of getting a good music video. And I was saying while we were there, I'm like, of course, there's always going to be something. There's always going to be like one cursed thing that happens on every shoot. But yeah, the shots look great. You didn't get to see the ones that we didn't put in the video where I am like slapping my face because the mosquitoes keep biting me. Maybe I'll make it like a blooper reel. We have plenty of footage of that. Reading through Ghost in the Shell. Thank you. Okay, cool. I'm glad I'm turning all you people onto Pearly Drops. This was my master plan. Would I ever leave New York? In what context? For like a music video? Because I've done, that's pretty much all I do. It's actually, yeah, it's surprisingly not super easy in New York. I mean, I guess for me, I'm trying to get a lot more nature shots and stuff. So New York's not the best for that, unless I'm going out of the city. But yeah, pretty much all of my music videos have been outside of the city. I did get a studio for Realize, and that was a very city-oriented music video. I think maybe I'm going to do one more music video for this album campaign once the album's out. So we're scheming one more potential one, and I do want that one to be New York themed. Bring it back to reality a little bit. And that falls in line with the themes of the record, I would say. Yeah, the 1990s iMac. I was talking about it earlier, but I bought it on eBay. It's like a 1999 version, and surprisingly, it runs pretty smoothly. It's hard to open the files, or it's hard to load it up, but it runs pretty well. And the guy that we bought it off of, I think maybe it was his son's or something. And it had all of his old files and everything on it. And so like we opened it up, and of course we have like Limp Bizkit as the first thing that's playing on it. And it's funny because you're listening on these horrible speakers. Like it just sounds like you're barely getting any frequency range within it at all. But it's definitely like just a portal in time. Full portal. I'm going to start a museum in my basement at this point. Blood sacrifice, correct. Where am I from originally? I'm from upstate New York. Not too far from the city, about an hour 45 north of here. My music video I did for my song Us Ephemeral, my last album, I shot that in my hometown in the mountains. So I'm kind of from like a cute little mountain town, hippie town. It's changed a lot, but I grew up very much in nature, immersed in nature. So living in New York is a big change that I haven't fully adjusted to even after a decade. But I think a lot of my songs it's like my way of getting back to that place. And I'm always kind of in this like state of nostalgia with a lot of my music, trying to reconnect with that time in my life that I was like in this very primitive state in nature with my friends, swimming in watering holes and going cliff jumping, and something I always miss a lot. Oh, you mean, okay, so you're asking if I would move out of New York? I would never move out of the state of New York, probably. It would be hard for me to move out of the city in general for a while. I just have everything. My whole life is here. Like I would have to basically change my entire way of living if I were to move here. I have my job and my friends and like so much amazing music and shows, and like it's like never ending opportunities, but it does bog you down. I mean, I could talk forever about my love-hate relationship with New York City. It's really rough and challenging and a never-ending challenge, but like it's also a crash course in how to push past your comfort zone, and it's a crash course on how to live more authentically, I would say. Like, I feel like I'm surrounded by a lot of people that challenge me to be more honest and more true to myself. And that's a really important influence and energy that I want to have around. I couldn't handle being around people where it was like you have to put on more of a facade in order to fit in. I feel like here it's like the less yourself you are, the less respected you are in many ways. So it's like, well, if I'm going to have external pressure in any way, I would want it to be that type of external pressure. And that's specifically within the scenes I kind of choose to surround myself with. But that's the cool thing about New York. You have so much choice. So, yeah, you have like a lot more choice in your surroundings and what you consume, especially on like an artistic level. So, yeah, I mean, I say I want to leave New York all the time when I'm getting stuck in the grind and everything, but it's made me who I am in many ways. I definitely recommend everyone live here at some point, but it's not for the faint of heart. That's for sure. Oh yeah, Chris says there was a lot of Limp Bizkit and porn on the computer. I didn't have to see that. I didn't have to endure that, but poor Chris. Oh yeah, LimeWire. The good days. I don't even know how you would watch porn on that though. I feel like it would just be like these like awkward stills that are just glitching out. Thank you, Matt. Oh, speaking of porn, speaking of LimeWire, I feel like maybe we've all had this experience. I hope it's not just me, but like I totally infected my dad's computer back when I was like 13. I infected it so bad. It was just a bunch of very up close photos that were just popping up on the screen, and it wouldn't stop. It just wouldn't stop. And I remember we were away or something, and we came home, and it was just all these pop-ups that just, my dad basically had to trash the computer. It wasn't worth saving at that point, but he thought it was like some cyber attack thing, and I was just like, oh, I don't know what that would have been from, but that was totally me. And I always would like wake up in sweats thinking that the cops were going to show up at my house because I was legally downloading so much music. Do I have a favorite national park? You live in Death Valley. Oh, cool. Well, I do love Joshua Tree. That's where we spent about a week in February shooting. We were there to shoot the music video, or not the music video, the album cover. And we ended up shooting the music video for Careless out in that area. So the turbines that you see in Careless are from that zone on the West Coast. Yeah, there's something I really love about being in more of like an arid desert area. I feel like it kind of, it's a very like, you know, it kind of connects you to something greater, especially because I think you're in a more isolated state. So it's like a really good way to just kind of be like one with nature and everything, and like not have to deal with the noise of tourists all around you. There's just a lot more room to explore in this, again, like very primitive way, where how we're meant to explore, where it's just like we are part of the earth and we should have every right to just wander. And it's actually really hard to do that anymore. It's like stay on the trails, or otherwise the rangers will give you a ticket. You'll see that everywhere. But out in Joshua Tree, I feel like there's so much room to just wander. So I really love it there. It's really beautiful. It's really inspiring as an artist. I don't know if I could live out there. Although I was like looking at Zillow and stuff, scheming on my way back. But then also where I grew up in upstate New York, there's a lot of protected land up there. But a lot of it has been taken over by tourists. They've made it more recreational. So that's a bummer. Because I can't really go home and enjoy my peace in nature as much as I used to be. But actually, Jersey has some great isolated spots. I'm not going to give away my spots, but you can find it. And actually in Long Island too, and the Montauk area, there's one trail in particular that I found on a forum, and it's seriously one of the most stunning sights on the East Coast. It's gorgeous. It just has, you walk this 2-mile trail and there's like these drop-offs and there's all these colored rocks by the water, and it's pretty much only a spot that surfers go to, so you're very isolated. But I have a whole story about getting attacked by larval ticks out there, so that kind of ruined that experience for me, but I still think it's beautiful. That's the thing. Nature, you know, you can't win against nature a lot. Do I prefer real drums or electric kit? I don't have really a preference per se. I think it's more of like what honors the song the most. And I think it's also like where I'm gearing the song towards. So if it's a song that I want geared more towards a live performance, lately I've been kind of gravitating more towards live drum sounds. And actually this record, it does have a lot more live drum sounds on it. I think that was in part sort of like unconscious and a little bit more just like this intuitive thing that I was going for, but because I was tapping into more of like an indie rock, trying to hit more of like a classic indie rock sound, I think that I was gravitating more towards real drum sounds, but I still wanted it to sort of live within the electronic Vitesse world. So it's like there's kind of a combo in this album of it. Yeah, it's kind of a combo of the two. And then for my live set in October, I am having a drummer play with me, and he's in the chat right now, having sample. So yeah, I guess lately I've been gravitating more towards live drums. Hell yeah, heaven sample. The burbs are where it's at. One day I'll have like, I would love to have kind of a combination of city life and still have ample, like an ample backyard space or something. I kind of have that now. It's pretty good for New York City space, I will say. I can't complain, but when you have a rat infestation, it makes it not as great. But anyway, okay, so this is a slideshow. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Oh, and I also have the flyer for my Elsewhere show. This is my Elsewhere show that is happening on October 17th, and I guess I haven't said it on the stream yet. I just recently announced that FM Skyline is joining the bill. So that's exciting because, first of all, I love FM Skyline. Secondly, he was on the bill on my last album release show. So it's kind of like a cute little reunion, and it's going to be super fun. I feel like I was like, who would be a great opener? And in my head, I was just like, I want someone who will really set the right vibe. Like, I just want, like, sage the room. I want a sage the room kind of energy. I was running through a lot of ideas in my head and of people that would be really cool, but then I was like, oh, maybe that'll be too hard or like a little too dark or something. And then when I thought about Pete FM Skyline, I was like, that's perfect. That's the perfect energy. And I feel like visually it's very on par with like the visuals of what I'm doing in this album cycle. So yeah, I feel like it's two worlds meeting in a very beautiful way. So please come out if you are in the New York area. It's going to be very fun. And I'm going to have a live drummer. So we'll see how that goes. I'm very excited. Very excited. What else? I'm not going to be on here for very long. But please, if you have any questions about the new track, let me know. I guess the album's coming out very soon, so I mean, I don't know how much I should talk about it because I want to save it for when it comes out, but it's kind of crazy because when you're in the middle of working on the record, you're just so hyper invested. It's like it is the world you're living in. It's the only thing you're thinking about. So now that like some time has passed, it's like and I've been focusing more on like the album campaign. It's almost like I have to like reconnect with the album a little bit. So I've been listening to it a bit more, and it's kind of crazy listening back and being like, whoa, those are like really fucking intense emotions right there. And it gets me very emotional. So, yeah, prepare to listen to my journal entry of 2024. That's pretty much what the album is. 2023 to 2024. It is very much wearing my entire inner world on my sleeve. So it's like when people ask me, oh, are you excited? I'm like, that's a weird thing to ask, I think. When you're preparing for everyone to be kind of like listening to all of these like dark, intense emotions that you've been holding in, it's like, I don't know if that exciting is a word for that. It's just like maybe cleansing, maybe I don't know, there's got to be a better word for it, but it's definitely, there's a lot more apprehension that goes into that than I think people realize. It's not so much like the fear of being judged or whatever, it's just like the fear of being exposed. It's a very vulnerable state. Have you or would you ever do a tour? I did do a tour. It was a pretty short one. I did a tour in 2021, and it was actually before my first album was out. So the crazy thing is I played my first show ever as Vitesse X. So my first solo show ever. And it was a sold out show. And that was crazy. And there was like some people singing along to my songs, which is really crazy. Well, it was like, I had like maybe 3 songs out at that point. They weren't even like single tracks. Like it wasn't like I had really like pop songs out at that point or anything. So that was really wild to experience. And then, so I played that show, and then a few days later I went on my first tour, and I was opening for Magdalena Bay and George Clinton. So yeah, talk about, and I was also doing sound. I was running sound for George on that tour. So I was playing for the first time in front of people. And this is like right as the pandemic was like coming to an end. So, you know, it's like, talk about like a really drastic, insane sort of thing to be thrown into. I mean, it was exciting at the same time, but it was a lot. It was very intense. I programmed my lights too. Like, I mean, I did have more time on my hands, but yeah, so I was running sound, opening for Mag Bay. I'm sure all of you are familiar with Mag Bay at this point, but it was like right as they were kind of blowing up, and we were like in the car, and you know, I could just tell. I was like, they're about to blow the fuck up. I can totally tell. They just had it all. They had really not been playing any shows either. They had just been starting to play shows too. So we were all kind of in the same boat in a way, just kind of getting our grounding. But so that was for me about a week, and then they continued the tour because I had to go back to work. But that's the longest tour I've done as a solo artist. And I would love to do another run. I am not capable of doing a very long tour because I do have a day job. But I'm definitely always down to be doing like one-offs and stuff too. So like flying out on the weekends somewhere. That's something I'm going to be doing for sure. And also DJ sets and stuff too. But I know people will want to hear songs from the records. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I do plan on playing these songs out and like going on maybe some short mini tours, I guess you could say. Oh, Mag Bay played in Philly. That's what you're saying, yeah? Yeah, they're playing in New York tomorrow, but I can't go. I'm going out of town. I'm really bummed. Mag Bay actually, I think I saw their first show ever, and it was at Knockdown Center. So they were just figuring out their live set and everything. This wasn't that long ago. It was only a couple of years ago. In 2021, so 3 years ago. But yeah, they were just figuring it out, and then like here they are like playing these fucking huge rooms, and they have just like really cool stage props and stuff now. They've really figured it out. I would love to collab with Mag Bay. They're probably really busy though. Am I self-taught or a college music production sound engineer? I would say I'm pretty much self-taught on every front of what I do. But I did go to like a program for audio engineering. I went to like a 9-month program, but I really learned most of my audio engineering stuff. I learned on the job, I would say. And the beauty of live sound is there's not really like a lot of structure to it in many ways. It's kind of like every day is different, and every problem's different than the next. So it's like more about just sort of being able to be resilient and kind of like troubleshoot on your feet and really play it cool when things are going wrong. And like, so things are just bound to go wrong. That's the nature of the job. And so I like that because I can learn a lot pretty fast. And so I started in small rooms doing live sound and like DIY stuff. And then I started moving to bigger rooms. And then I ended up touring with bands. I toured doing sound for Beach Fossils on their 2020 tour right before lockdown hit, which was super, super fun. So yeah, and now I'm doing more like a corporate audio work. That's my gig now, but very much self-taught. Yeah, that just works for me. I think I need to get kind of thrown into the chaos and like having to just like not overthink anything, just make things happen. And that's really how I learn. I don't really learn as well in a super structured like academic environment. I have to be using, and especially with sound, live sound and stuff, it's like so tactile that you can't totally be stuck in theory. You have to really be getting that muscle memory down. And same goes for production and everything. It's like the best way to really retain anything is to be doing it and then sort of like figure out where your limitations are. And then once you're at the point where you know where your limitations are, that's the best point to then go seek advice or read a textbook or something. But like, you can't do that first. You have to know what you're looking for, the answers you're looking for. So that's what works for me. I have a feeling that that's probably like pretty applicable to most people, but obviously like our educational systems aren't built that way. The George Clinton thing, I don't think so much the venues got confused, but that does happen. The biggest artist I've worked with? Are you talking more about like live sound? Because live sound, I've been lucky to work with some pretty big names. Now with my job, I work with some pretty big names, but I'm doing more like interview stuff. So that's not as cool. I'm not really running sound for them on any musical level. So, but when I was doing live sound, I don't know, I worked with like Doja Cat one time. I did sound for her one time. There's a lot of like micro celebrities, like micro punk celebrities and stuff that like, there's a venue I worked at that was really close to CBGB's. And so it was kind of like the bookings there half the time were like shows that kind of funneled from CBGB's to there because CBGB's no longer exists. So there was like kind of like, this is the last space for it. So I did sound for like Martin Rev from Suicide and there's probably a lot more, but I'm like, my brain is like fried right now. Yeah, stuff like that. That was pretty cool. Members of television and stuff. Yeah, a lot of like punk legends, micro legends. And the cool thing working sound was like, I met so many people. You could call it networking or whatever, but for me, it was just like, it was such a great way to meet other artists and kind of like build a much stronger connection than you would just meeting someone at a bar or something, because they're putting so much of their trust in your hands to like, I mean, for most people who make art, it's like their music it's your baby. And when you're playing a show, you're showcasing this to the world and in such an intimate way. It's like my job as an engineer becomes really important, and I'm almost like another musician in the band for a moment in time. So I took that role very seriously, and it was really cool to like meet people, and if they liked the sound that day and stuff, a lot of times that would bring new opportunities. And whether that's just like a friendship or collaboration or any of that. So like, for instance, my mixing engineer that I work with for all of my records now, I actually ran sound for him one day. He was like, he had a modular set that he was doing. And I thought his gear was really cool. And so like after his set, we were just talking about his gear, and then he's like, oh, I have a studio out in Greenpoint. You should come by. And so we just kind of hit it off. And then like now he's my guy who does all the mixes for my tracks and everything for my records. Yeah. And I mentioned it on my last stream, but like While Nothing, I actually did sound for them at this really cool venue in Manhattan. And I had known Jack prior to that, but we weren't really like close or anything. But then after I did sound for him and the band, we got a lot closer and kept in touch a bit more. And so, yeah, I think it's really cool because I don't think I would have built those types of relationships in any other context. It really showcases your character when you're a live sound engineer, when you can like make people feel really comfortable in your presence and like really show care and concern for their music, for their sound, and for just like their comfort level on stage. It means the world to so many artists. So it's good to see that. Like I have such a 360 view of the live performance space because I have, I'm like playing shows, but then I've ran sound, and it's like every aspect of it is super, super important. And I didn't want to be the stereotype of just like the engineer that hated their lives and didn't want to be there and was just grumpy and hateful. Like it's not necessary. You can actually have a lot of fun on the job if you just care slightly. So that was kind of my go-to thing for 6 or 7 years. And I do miss it, but it's a grueling job too, I will say. The hours are crazy. Will Pearly Drops come on the stream? Well, I think honestly, like maybe they seem mysterious to you in part because like the time zone difference is pretty intense. Like it was a little tricky getting in contact with them, like because we were like on the last leg of getting the music video done this week. It's just like communication becomes tricky because they're sleeping at the same time we're up and working, and so maybe that's why they seem more mysterious, but I think that's also their vibe. They're very like they're a little, yeah, they are just mysterious, but they're actually very, very sweet people and really fun to talk to. But they do live all the way out in Finland, so that might be more the reason. I would love to have them on the stream if they ever come to New York again, which they will, I'm sure. But if they come anytime soon, I'll try to get them on a stream. We can all talk. That'd be cool. Taylor Swift should pay me to remix her songs. I can say for certain that I would not want to spend any time remixing Taylor Swift songs. I'm sorry. No shade, but like also I cannot bring myself to listen to a Taylor Swift song for more than like 3 seconds without being like, okay, I'm done. Doesn't do much for me. Would you like to see your music babies used in a TV series? Sure. Yeah, who wants to use my music? Let me know. Whoever's out there wants to use my music in their show, please. I'll be more than willing. Yes. Unless it's something that like I very much morally disagree with. But for the most part, yeah. Oh, you want me to get paid? That's true. Sometimes I forget about that. Yeah, I still probably wouldn't. No. That's a moral dilemma right there. I don't really do any of this thinking that there's money at the end of the road. I've already went into this maybe slightly pessimistic, maybe more realistic, but like I don't ever really want my art to be tied in with I'm at the point in my life where I'm like really happy to have a separate income so that I can really keep a level of purity in the way I approach my music, because I do think that if I was just making music as a full-time job, I mean, obviously, like, if you can get to a point where, like, you're really making enough money where you don't have to think about it, that's fucking great. That's very hard to come by. Even like the biggest artists out there, it's very difficult to get to that point. So I'm much happier kind of having that separation and just making my art for myself and for like the sake of therapy, really. Like, what is art there for? For me, in my mind, it's like, it's a primitive language. It's something that we all need in our lives. It's a means of catharsis and connection, and, you know, maybe a connection to something deeper and more spiritual. So in that sense, like, I just think if it had to be my means of making money, it would kind of put me in the wrong headspace. So it's always incredible to see any type of paycheck come in for your money and be like, whoa, that's cool. But like, that's not why I do it at all. That's definitely the last thing I'm thinking about. So yeah, it's like a cool little perk if that happens, I will say. But it's like, I'm not going to really do something artistically that I just don't feel like doing just because I want to make some money. Like, that just doesn't sound fun to me. And I'm lucky that I don't have to do that. Yeah. David Lynch approach. Art for art's sake. That's how it should be. It sounds simple, but, you know, it's easy for things to lose or to kind of separate from the true initial intention. Well, I was only going to be on here for about an hour, but there's a fair amount of you in here, so I can chill for a second longer. What more do I want to say? Let me think. I got my show. My album's coming out on October 4th, if I haven't said that before. It's coming out on October 4th. And I'm excited, kind of. I am nervous to have my diary out there for everyone to read. But no, it's gonna be great. I'm actually very excited to have this out and like be able to work on new ideas. Because album mode, it gets you locked in. It definitely, like, that becomes your one and only focus. But during that time, it's kind of hard to make new art. So this entire couple months, I've been just scheming in my head of like all the new songs I want to be making, and just like the sound, like how I want to transition my sound. And yeah, I have another album that's in the works too. So I'm like super eager to get to that. How do I approach other artists to feature if they might not see the money thing the same as you? Oh, well, so when it comes to like, if I am working with someone and they are spending their time to help me in any capacity, making sure they get paid is the highest priority for me. So just because I don't see money as like the main pursuit for myself in my artistic endeavors, it is crucially important that the people that work with me get paid their fair share, get their fair cut. That's absolutely like the most important thing. So yeah, I mean, just because that's not like my intention going into my music, I also see that like the world kind of operates in a transactional way a lot of times. And, you know, we working in this kind of society, it's like people just need, I mean, we all just need to stay afloat. And a lot of the people I work with, this is their means of staying afloat. So yeah, I take that very seriously. I would never like be like, oh, just do this for free for me. That's crazy. I would never do that. So I hope that answers your question. I'm not in La La Land over here being like, money is not real. That's definitely not what I meant to say by that. Um, hmm. What else? You know, I am I'm finally at the tail end of this whole process. It feels crazy. It feels like I've like really wrung myself dry of every emotion, every piece of energy I have left. But I hope that kind of showcases what this whole thing means to me. It's like my fucking lifeblood, and I think it's like I didn't even have control over this. It's just something that really needed to come out and be shared with the world. So if I seem exhausted, that's why. It's like this whole thing means so much to me. And a lot of these songs that I wrote for this record, it's like these were songs that were living inside of me for years, since I even kind of got started writing music. So yeah, this album's gonna be like a big one for me, I would say, in that respect. Thank you, Fishes 002. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad all of you like the song. Yeah, it's a cool one. It's a cool one. I feel like, I don't know if I've heard a song out there where it's like the theme of it is a girls' night out in a dystopian wasteland. I think this might be the first one I know of. And it feels very fitting for the time, I will say. It's a good song to put your makeup on and get ready for the night too, for sure. And what else? That's about it. I'm trying to really limit myself talking about the record, because when it comes out, I'm gonna have a lot to say. I'm saving it for that. The next collab, TBD. I'm not working on collabs right now, but I have a lot of people in my pocket that I plan on hitting up at some point. For the next record, it's going to be more experimental. So I think that caters to collaboration a bit more in some respects, because I'm going to be a little bit more like open to just like other people's input, I think. And there's not going to be any rules with this next record after this one. This one it's a little bit more structured, because it's more like, you know, when you go into the indie pop territory, there are just, pop by nature has a little bit more rules to it. So, but the next one, yes, there's going to be a lot more collabs. I think that's the plan. All right, guys. Well, thanks for showing up. Thanks for letting me ramble. Thanks for listening to me as I'm just managing to stay awake. But I really wanted to get on here and just talk about the song, because this one's really special to me. Being able to collaborate with Pearly Drops is kind of a dream for me. It's been really awesome this year, being able to work with these artists that were like, in my mind, just like so top tier. I was like, oh, this is unattainable. At one point in time, it was kind of unattainable, but I think like once you start finding your own voice for yourself, it becomes something that feels a little bit more realistic over time. So it's cool to be at that point where I feel confident enough to start reaching out to these people that inspire me so much. So this song is like one of the first, I hope, of many more to come. Maybe many more to come with Pearly Drops. Who knows? That would be cool. Oh, cool. I'm glad you like my rambling. Not as fun as last time, I will say, because I got a skateboard from Chad Muska in the mail, and I opened that on the stream, and it was really cool. I don't have it on my wall here. It's on my wall upstairs. But that was a stream to remember. That was really exciting. I didn't know that he had signed that board, so I was figuring it out on the stream. And then I had a lot of stories about just my first interactions with Wild Nothing and stuff, and how awkward I was. But I don't really have the same stories with Pearly Drops. I was a little bit more cool and poised meeting them than I was meeting Wild Nothing. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'll be back streaming very soon. When the album comes out, I'll be chatting a lot. I'll have a lot to say. And a lot to share with you guys. One last thing, I am planning on, I guess this will be between you and me until the formal announcement, but I'm going to be, new subscriber. Hi. Hey, Matt Diaz. Hello. What was I saying? Yes. I'm going to have a fan club. I don't like calling it fan club, but I'm going to have a place for us to congregate, and I can share a lot of BTS stuff, a lot of demos and work in progress stuff, and I'll have exclusive runs and all of that would live there. But I haven't done the formal announcement yet. I have to get myself a little bit more organized, but that's going to be announced soon, so I hope maybe you'll want to join that. For now, I do still have a Discord, so if you want to join my Discord, that's always fun. That's just a place for me to shoot the shit, post photos of my dog, which is pretty much my favorite pastime. Random photos of things on the street that I see in New York. And just a place to keep updated. So join my Discord, and I'm very grateful for all of you who came to hang out today and listen to the new song. And that's all I have to say. Cool. Like a Discord. Yes, like a Discord. But I'm going to have a separate fan club that will live, I believe, on Bandcamp. That's the plan. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. And also the link to my show, for the ticket link to my show, is below. So if you want to get tickets to my show, please come. Also, the link to buy my new record is below, or to pre-order, I should say. I have vinyl, cassette, CD, and mini disc, which is really sick. It looks very cool. All right, I'm done rambling, but thank you guys for hanging out, and I'll talk to you in a couple weeks when the album's out. Goodbye.